Hi, everyone. I'm Marion Timpson, and I'm one of the leaders here at Credit Innovation Group, and I'm going to walk you through your new member webinar. So welcome to Credit Innovation Group. This is a live stream, and so we're here live with you. And so you should be able to interact with us through the chat features. If you want to chat a question there while we're doing the live stream, we've got Tegan here monitoring that, and she'll be able to pass those questions up to me. But the main goal of this is to walk you through the product that you've just purchased and help you understand what is available to you, what are the tools that you have, how it works, and how to interact with us as we go through this journey with you. So the first thing that we want to do is go talk to you about your Creds app. And then we'll talk to you about the specialist and what role they play in all of this. And then we're going to talk about kind of how everything works. We're going to go through your online portal, which is a place where you can look at the results that you're getting with us. And it's also a place that we can help deliver the map to you, that in your sales conversation, your sales agent would have talked to you about that map. Another thing that we'll talk about is how long this process takes. And then, of course, what does the payment process look like? We always want people to join our Facebook group because there's interaction that happens there. Both us talking to you about different updates or different announcements that are going on inside of the Credit Innovation Group. And also gives you a chance to share your stories with the rest of the people in the group. Your story is inspiring to other people who are on a similar journey. And then we'll go through some testimonials and reviews, and then we'll have a QA session. So let's get into the Creds app. This is in the App Store. If you, when you walk through the conversation with your sales agent, you should have downloaded this app as part of that sales process. Now, if you had some troubles downloading the app, maybe they just set you up through your online portal. But you can download the Creds app in your App Store on your cell phone. And while you're watching this, I invite you to take some time to do that if you haven't. If you have downloaded the app and you're already logged in, feel free to open that up as you're going through this. Maybe there's a question that you have while we're going through this that might be something you could chat to Tegan. So what is Creds? That's really what we want to look at here, okay? In the Creds app, you can see on this slideshow, the very first thing that you see is these 3 C's. It says character, capacity, and capital, okay? And the biggest thing that the Creds app is trying to do is it's trying to help you look at your credit profile the way a lender looks at your credit profile. So when we talk about credit, we think credit score, or we think items on my credit report. But actually, there's a lot more to your credit than just your credit score. So what you'll notice in your app is under the character section, if you've gone through that little wizard on the character section of the app, you'll have your credit score there. It'll tell you what your credit score is, and you can click into that and you can see what your credit score is on all 3 bureaus. And then you can get into your credit reports and you can look at all of the differences on all of the different sections of those credit reports. And that's what most credit apps are, is your credit score and your credit reports. That's where this app is just beginning. And over the first 90 days of our experience with you, our main focus is getting that score to go higher. We want to get that score up. There's a lot of opportunity that is open up to you as your credit reports get cleaned up and as your credit score improves. And our goal is to get over 150-point improvement in that first 90 days. So that's what we're talking about. That's kind of the minimum mark that we're setting for you. It's kind of a base expectation that you can have. Now, that doesn't even get into the other 2 parts of the Creds app, which is your capacity and your capital. And so as you go through those wizards, take some time to answer all of the questions, because if you haven't already done your 5-day map review call with your specialist, you're going to want to have your 3 C's filled out before you do that map review call. The more information that you have fleshed out inside of your Creds app, the more specific of advice we can give to you in that map review call. And as your specialist is looking at your at your Kretzy profile, they can say, oh, wow, this person, we've got to clean some negative items. We got to increase their score a little bit, but we also need to, for example, add rental reporting to increase their score even further. And so they'll activate that and add that into your map. Or maybe your capacity is really tight and your budget is really tight and you're having a hard time figuring out how to make ends meet. If your capacity is really tight, it's going to be hard to keep your monthly bills paid on time, which is going to threaten your credit score. Or you might have credit card balances that are starting to stack up, which hurts your utilization rate, which hurts your credit score. So your capacity influences over time your credit score and your character, right? So your specialist is going to start looking at that side of your credit profile and say, well, what are some things that we can do to increase your capacity? During the second 90 days of your 6-month program with Credit Innovation Group, we're going to focus on leveraging the improvements in your credit score to increase your capacity and ultimately increase your capital. The third C is your capital. Capital is evidence of good credit over time. And really, what your credit is it's trying to leverage limited capacity to create unlimited capital. And so you leverage your credit. You can think of your credit as your credit score, right? But it's this whole system. You leverage your credit to turn limited capacity. Maybe you make $3,000 a month. If you only make $3,000 a month, it's really hard to put together things like retirement. It's really hard to put together a really strong life for yourself. But if you have really good credit, you can take limited capacity and out of it create unlimited capital, okay? And that's the credit system. And that's how you get ahead. That's what this app is trying to do, is it's trying to start dissecting those 3 C's. And then your specialist is going to be looking at those 3 C's and working with you on what is the biggest lever for you? What is the number one thing that we can focus on over the next 30 days to dramatically increase your financial situation? For example, becoming a homeowner, you might only have $800 a month to pay for rent. But if you pay rent for 30 years, at the end of it, you don't have capital out of the deal. If instead we take that $800 a month that you're paying in rent and turn it into $800 a month that you're paying in a mortgage, right? We're now leveraging your credit to turn that limited $800 a month into $250,000 in capital 30 years from now. And by becoming experienced with your credit, you take that $800 a month and turn it into $2.5 million in capital 30 years from now. So that's really what this process is doing, is trying to teach you how to leverage those things. Inside your Kretzy app, you'll notice that there are courses and guides. One of the guides that you want to take a look at is the Cash Flow Accelerator, and that starts looking at what are some ways we can increase your cash flow. So you've got our education center that will have, for example, a course on 5 ways to hack your credit score in 5 days. And that's very real things that you're going to hear more about from your specialist, but it kind of gives you a heads up about some of the things maybe you should be looking at early on that might end up in your map and that your specialist might be talking to you about. For example, adding an authorized user. That's a step that a lot of people don't understand how enormously powerful that can be, not just to increase your credit score, okay, but to increase your excess capacity on some of your trade lines. Maybe you've got a credit card that has a $5,000 balance and you're using $4,000 of that. Well, that's going to hurt your utilization rate, which is going to decrease your credit score. If you have an aunt or an uncle or a grandmother, grandfather, mom, dad, brother, sister, and they have a credit card that has a long history on that credit card, maybe that it's been open for 10 years, and it has a $2,000 limit with no balance because they don't use the card, they can add you as an authorized user. And now on your credit profile, instead of having $5,000 of credit limit, you have $7,000 of credit limit and only $4,000 of it is used. And so instantly your utilization looks better. And that'll give you, that could give you a 30 to 40 point boost across all of your credit reports. That's 30 points across 3 bureaus. That's a 90 point boost to your credit score. So that's one example in the 5 ways to hack your credit score in 5 days. Make sure to take a look at that in the app. And there's some other ones. As you flesh out your Creds app, our team is going to tailor this next 6-month map for you based on what you find out there. And then you also notice in the partners section that you can access your Credit Innovation Group online portal. So those are some of the things that you'll see in the Creds app. We've talked about the 3 C's: character, capacity, and capital. And I really recommend, if you haven't fleshed all of that out, get into that, because the next step is to meet with your specialist and go through all of that. So this is a coaching conversation that you've already scheduled with your sales agent when you went through the sale. And this is a half-hour coaching conversation where the specialist has looked at your profile. Our ninjas have already got to work on your profile. Okay. They've already started disputing negative items. And this is a chance now for the specialist to say, hey, what is your end goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to get a business loan? Are you trying to are you trying to buy a house? Are you trying to buy a car? Are you trying to get out of debt? What is it that you're trying to do? And what can we do, not just today and not just cleaning negative items off of your reports, but what can we do holistically to improve your condition over the next 6 months? So that's what they're doing right now. And then at that very first meeting with your specialist, they're going to go through that map with you and start giving you advice. With your premium membership, for those of you that are premium members, which is most of you are premium members, with your premium membership, you'll be able to schedule additional meetings with this specialist by calling our customer service team and getting those scheduled. Okay. So we have our customer service team that's available all day, every day during business hours to help you log into your portal, or if there's a tech problem that you're having. But the specialist is the one who's really helping you at the end. So we've talked about this map. Very first thing we're going to do is create a powerful analysis of where you're at right now. Take a look at this is your current situation. And then we want to say, well, where do you want to go? And then we're going to say, what are the most effective mile markers over the next 6 months that we can follow to get you there? And the best part is you may, in your mind, think, oh, that's not realistic, or I can't do that. But our specialists have helped thousands of people to do these things. So they're going to be taking a look at your situation with a lot of optimism and what you're capable of doing. You can contact us, as I said, anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The customer service number is right there. If you haven't already written it down, go ahead and take some time to do that. It's available on our website as well. And then you can also email and text message not only our customer service team, but your specialist. If you have any just one-off questions, and the specialist is usually paying pretty close attention to their text messages. So that's a great way if you're just stuck on something they were talking, like they were working with you to get an authorized user and you had a question real quick, you can text message them about that. In your online portal, the first thing you're going to notice when you log in is you're going to notice your credit score. You can click into that for more information and access to your reports. That's the same thing that you're seeing through the Creds app. It's the same data. It's the same information that you're seeing pulled from your Creds app. So we are partnered with Creds to get your credit reports. And the reason we use Creds is because of all the awesome tools that they have in their app. But what we've done is pull those credit reports and credit scores into our online portal so you have information. And then below that is a dashboard that shows you the current progress of where we're at on your file and how we're doing getting the, both on disputing the negative items and how many of those negative items have been removed. So here's some screenshots of what your credit scores look like. Another thing that you can do in your online portal is you're having success with us. An important part of your journey is to find people that you can change your financial story with. Okay. It's not good for you to be on an island doing this all alone, thinking I'm the only one doing this. You are one of millions of people that are trying to improve their financial condition and take advantage of the American dream. So if you know someone who's struggling with their credit, or maybe they just don't have credit and they don't really know how to use it, don't hesitate to get into the portal. And there's some steps that allow you to refer a friend. How long does all of this take? I've talked a lot about 6 months. The reason I talk about 6 months is because we have a 6-month process that we go through. But credit isn't something that you solve in 6 months or 1 month or 6 years. This is the rest of your life. And we're not looking at our step in this process is to help get some work done initially, to kickstart you into a better profile, to give you some education, and then to hand you off with some tools that create very long-lasting results for you. So, as I said, the first 3-month period is going to be focused on just increasing your score. Our average person has a starting score of 581, okay? It usually takes 4.28, that's just our number that comes out in the average, months to go from 581 to get your score up to 640. Okay, so that's 4.28 months. We start seeing the best results between months 4 to 6. But it's important to understand that those results are results of work that gets done between months 0 to 3. So the majority of the work on cleaning up your reports and adding items to your score happens in months 0 through 3. In months 4 through 6, you start really seeing the improvements from that. For example, let's say that you want to add rental reporting. You can get into your Credigy app right now and you can start signing out the papers to add rental reporting. They're going to work with your landlord, get everything verified, right? And then the work is done. And then let's say that it takes 30 days before that first rental report goes to your bureau. Well, then it might take another 15 days or so before the bureau reports it. So depending on when you filled that out, if you filled that out 15 days into the process, we're now 60 days before rental reporting first shows up on your credit report. Rental reporting shows up on your credit report. That might give you an initial boost of 40, 50, 60 points on your credit score, right? Well, now, because we have that 40 points boost on your credit score, there become other things that we can do to not only increase your credit score more, right? But also to start leveraging that, free up your cash flow. As we free up your cash flow, maybe you have the ability to pull down one of your credit card balances, which boosts your credit score even more. So that's the idea, that we're going to get everything done and then we're going to see these results in 30 days. A lot of our customers see deletions in the first 30 days because we've already done some work for you. So you might even see deletions before that inside of your portal because of some of the unique methods of our Ninja group. For example, in your specialist call, we have a process called the Ninja Blast. The Ninja Blast can only happen if you meet with your specialist on your map review call, and you should ask your specialist about it. But in our Ninja Blast, we can get really quick results with deletions. So you might see some deletions there right off the bat. That might give you, once those items come off your report, that might give you a boost to your credit score there in the first 30 days. But then once those deletions come off, that starts feeding into our AI process, which helps us to get some of those items off some of the other bureaus. And so this is a very dynamic process where what happens in month 1 supports what happens in month 2, supports what happens in month 3. And so you build all of this momentum, and then there by months 4, 5, and 6, you start seeing some really incredible results. So that's a good way of thinking of this, is we're going to get a lot of work done here in the first 30 days. Yes, you're going to see, about 60% of our people see some initial results in those first 30 days. So that's good. But even if you don't see results in the first 30 days, that doesn't mean nothing is happening. That means we've gotten a bunch of work done, and now we're leveraging that work that we did in the first 30 days to get more new, better work done in the second and third months. And by the time we get into that 4th month, you start seeing some really good results. So you see this, for example, in these reports. Month 1, everything was flat. Month 2, everything was flat. Month 3. And then in that 4th month, you see just suddenly this huge rise. This is actual examples of a credit report. Okay. So you get this huge lift in their credit score 4 months into the process. That isn't because we did nothing for the first 4 months. That's because we laid all this groundwork during the first 4 months, and then you start seeing these huge results. There's a lot of people in the credit repair space that promise these, hey, we're going to get all of this done in 30 days, and you're going to see this huge result in your score. And they say you're going to get a 150-point result. Well, what they mean by 150 points is they mean 50 points across each of your 3 credit bureaus. That would be 150 points, right? Yes, you can get that done. And we know not only what that company does, but we know what many of these other companies are doing to get those initial results. We're going to give that the best that we can. But what a lot of those companies then do is they check out and they go to sleep and they stop working on your reports. What we do is we double and dovetail what we're doing week after week, month after month, which creates a lot of momentum. So I'm not saying that you won't get results early on. What I'm saying is the best results come, 4 or 5 months in. Here's another example of a credit report that shows up. Here's one where you see it start to go up and then it goes up there at the end. Now, here's an example where you see this huge bump early on and then their score went down. This person, we did something that gave them a lift, right? And then they did something that hurt their score. Then we worked with them to fix what they had done. And then you see another lift, right? And you see kind of this up and down. One of the things that you need to work with your specialist on is let's make sure that the things that we're doing to improve your credit, you're then managing what you're doing on your side to leverage those things to improve your credit rating even more and not kind of have this bouncing up and down. Okay. Okay, so your payments are set up with your salesperson on subscription, right? These are going to be set up automated. You want to make sure that the payment method that you used with your salesperson is going to work, because the biggest thing that will disrupt your results is disruption in payment. We can't keep working if we're not being paid. And so make sure that the credit card that we have on file is the right card that's going to have the money for the $129 fee or for the $189 fee, depending on what your subscription amount is. Make sure that it's the right one. The other thing to pay attention to is we need you to keep even though we're not Credsy, we need you to keep your Credsy subscription active for a minimum of 6 months, because that's how we get your new credit reports that allows us to work on your next round of disputes. So if we don't have those credit reports, how are we supposed to then, there's things that we can do to help you, but we don't have all the tools that we need to do to get you the very best results. So make sure to keep that Credsy subscription active for at least 6 months. Make sure you've got a good credit card on there, and then make sure that your payments are made on time. And those 2 things are one of the biggest things that you can do to make sure that there's no disruption. And instead of us spending our time trying to collect money, we're spending our time trying to help you accomplish your goal of becoming a homeowner or whatever it is. We talked about the Facebook group. It's called the Credit Group. Please join that group and share your story with us. You can also ask questions of other people in the group, and don't hesitate to, if you're running into a problem, you don't know who to talk to, we're watching that group at all times. Just shout out, hey, I need help with XYZ, and we'll make sure that a specialist reaches out to you or gets a hold of you. So that just creates a community where we can work together on this project. We could spend so much time going through testimonials on Credit Innovation Group. This is a passion project for us. There's a lot of things that you can do to decide to go to work and find a way to pay your bills. But when we see the difference that we can make in people's lives, helping people who have wanted to be homeowners their whole life, and just something was in the way, or maybe the whole process was so confusing, they just didn't even know where to start. And then working with them for 6 months, and sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's a year and a half later. We've already helped them, and a year and a half later, they send us a message with a picture of them standing in front of their house. And the smiles on those faces, we have some people that send us these videos of them with their kids walking into the house saying, "Okay, kids, go pick your room." the looks on the kids' faces and the pride that they take in being a part of a family that owns their home. Or we have people that send us a message about a new business that they were starting and they needed $80,000 in capital. And then they're sending us a picture of their new van for their new plumbing business or whatever it was that they're trying to do. We want to help you accomplish your dreams. And we have helped so many people to do that. So these testimonials are in the credit group. They're on our Facebook page. They're on our website. We've helped a lot of people to accomplish a lot of really great things. Here's some pictures that have been sent to us of homes that people have moved into. And we are excited to help you as well. So that's kind of a broad view of the product and how it works and how we interact with you. I hope that you're sitting there right now and you're saying, wow, that's a lot. He said so many things. I don't even know what a lot of that meant. Make sure to meet with your specialist. And if you've already met with your specialist and I've triggered something in your mind that you're like, I've got to talk to somebody about that, call our customer service team and set up another meeting with your specialist. It's really easy to do that. But if any of you have questions that you want to pop into the chat right now, go ahead and Tegan will keep an eye on that for a little bit. Okay, well, you guys know where to find us. You've got our customer service number. You've got the ability to reach out to your specialist and have very custom conversations with them about any of these things. Welcome to Credit Innovation Group and good luck on your journey. It's a pleasure to meet all of you.